The only people who don't want to disclose the truth are people with something to hide.
Well, the last couple of days, as you know, we've been talking just ad nauseum about Uncle Omar and what's happening in the state, and we've talked a lot about illegal immigration, and the conversation got around on Zitouni and Uncle Omar, and the front page of the Boston Herald yesterday said that Uncle Omar's living the dream, and he has a Social Security number. And a lot of people have been wondering. Yesterday, the conversation, as we discussed, has sort of turned towards Dr. Jerome Corsi and what his work has attempted to expose in terms of the Social Security number and the birth certificate. And the birth certificate issue has been contentious. It's been people are labeled crazy, nuts, racist, whatever. You guys have heard everything. And there's somebody that has been out there, I guess, I don't know if you want to say fueling conspiracy theories per se, but just really trying to get to the truth. She does not believe that President Obama is a natural-born citizen. She does not believe that he has done things the right way. That part of, and I'm going to let her tell you all this, that part of his associations, of course, are methodical because it is all in line to get to what his ultimate goal was. And I don't think you can connect the dots from birth to presidency, but the association certainly helped him in many ways. And her name is Dr. Orly Taitz, and she is an American dentist. She's also a lawyer, a former real estate agent. She's got a whole bunch of titles. She's also one of the leading figures in the birther movement, which challenges whether Barack Obama is a natural-born citizen eligible to serve as president of the United States. By the way, she also promotes a number of other allegations, both related and unrelated to Obama, and has initiated a number of lawsuits on behalf of the birther movement that I just also have to say, for the sake of saying, all right, that a lot of people in the media, and she will tell you herself, Bill O'Reilly has called her an absolute nut, Fruit Loop. The folks at MSNBC, they loathe her. They just can't stand it. They invite her to the show, and when she doesn't say what they want, they kick her off. And it depends on, I suppose, what media circles you roll in or what you're inclined to believe. You will find her to be an interesting source of valuable information, or somebody that really is gone over the edge. So I wanted to get her on today because, in all fairness, we talked to Dr. Jerome Corsi. We talked to all kinds of people on my show. We talked to a former member of the new Black Panther Party some time ago. And I try to, bring, I think, relevant stuff to you guys. And also, I got to entertain because I want to keep my job. But I really think that it's relevant that we talked to Dr. Orly Taitz today, because there was a lawsuit that came down. I was deciding what am I going to talk about today, and I saw that the very situation that we've all been talking about. A judge has ruled on Obama's Social Security number. The judge actually told the attorney, hey, today is not your lucky day. This is what happened. A federal judge in Washington has told Orly Taitz that he has dismissed her case demanding information from the Social Security Administration regarding the president's number because of suspicions that it may be fraudulent. So that has been thrown out. So I thought, this is great. We're going to get her on. Welcome, Dr. Orly Taitz. I really appreciate you taking the time today.
Thank you very much for inviting me.
You bet. Now, I think the first question in people's minds before we get to some of the interesting information, because I did not know, and guys, wait till she tells you where Aunt Zitouni's, maybe I said it earlier, if you're just joining us, Aunt Zitouni's Social Security number is from, but what prompted you, Dr. Taitz, to start this sort of, I don't know, this effort, this huge effort on your part to find the truth about Barack Obama? What is it? Is it because people will say you're a racist, you hate him, all kinds of things. I want to hear from you. Why have you done what you're doing?
Well, I was born and raised in the Soviet Union, in the socialist dictatorship, when citizens had no rights. We could not come to court and seek information under Freedom of Information Act. We could not seek relief for our grievances. And it was just as a big concentration camp. My uncle was a world-renowned dissident, a refusenik, and U.S. senators, among them actually Democrats, were fighting to get him out of the Soviet Union. So that's the family where I came from. And when I saw Obama, when he just started speaking, I knew that I'm going back to the Soviet Union. This man is very different. Yeah, and it has
so it was really your instinct. So it was
his color of his skin.
So,
it
So it was your instinct. So it was your instinct based on what you had seen. Can you just speak up for me, Dr. Taitz? It's just your.
Yeah.
All right.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Well.
Yes, thanks. I appreciate that. So it's really your instinct based on what you saw.
It's more than instinct. You can tell that his speeches were not ringing true when he was talking about a civilian army as big as the military. First thing that came to my mind was KGB. KGB, young Komsomol, young communist army. I could hear and see the brainwashing. I can see those emblems, this art that was used. Obama's pictures in the top and burst of color. I could see this is Soviet Union all over again. It's a brainwashing and propaganda. And what's behind it? And when I started doing research, I found out, my God, there is nothing behind it.
So where did you start? Where exactly did you begin? When you decided you were going to start investigating the president, was it as a senator or was it as president? And where did you begin?
Well, actually, it started with McCain. As you recall, in March of 2008, there was a joint Senate Resolution 511, where it was found that McCain was a presidential candidate as a natural-born citizen because he satisfied two-pronged tests. Both of his parents were U.S. citizens, and he was born in the United States territory because at the time that he was born, the zone of Panama Canal was a U.S. territory. He was born on a military base there. And the questions started arising right away about Obama. What about him?
Got it.
To look at the same test, his father was never a U.S. citizen. He never even had a green card. He was here on a student visa for a short period of time. He wasn't even a legal resident in this country on a student visa. So he never satisfied that part of the two-pronged test. Second part, he never provided his long-form birth certificate. And I started legal actions. And as a matter of fact, my lead client is Dr. Alan Keyes, who is African-American. So racism has nothing to do with this. It's not race. It's fraud and criminality of Obama that when we now reached such corruption in all three branches of our government, where the congressmen are looking the other way, corrupt judges are looking the other way, and this is the result, that for 2.5 years we have a man without one single valid paper sitting in the White House.
Well, now two questions arise from based on some of the things you said. So what about the information that the White House has given? I mean, the president pretty much gives to the reporters what he says, the birthers scream about, and then laughs as he hands it over. So what are some of the things that you first started seeing when you did the investigation that led you to B, C, D? And what about the birth certificate that the president gave to everybody and said, here it is. You asked for it, you got it. Toyota.
Okay. First of all, the moment he produced it, right away I received statements from about 20 experts, and I submitted to this judge affidavits from experts saying, this is a computer-generated composite, cheap forgery. It's not even good quality forgery. There is no way this is a copy of an original birth certificate. This is not a copy. This is not a scan of any paper document. This is something that was created on computer. And I had one expert show that layers, they used a program, either Adobe Illustrator or similar program, where you can see layers. And for example, it is clear that they used the mother's signature from a document that she signed for his sister. She signed for the sister, Stanley Ann D. Soyatoro. And you can see how they erased Soyatoro, and you can see with her handwriting, Stanley Ann D., and then you can see computer graphics when they're written on computer.
Well, don't you think,
Obama.
though, I mean, yeah, but Dr. Taitz, we're speaking with Dr. Orly Taitz. She is really what I guess a lot of the birthers consider one of the founders of the movement. She's an American dentist, also a lawyer, and really has been chasing Barack Obama and trying to find out exactly who he is. Dr. Taitz, but why would the White House release something that is so grossly obvious to be a forgery or just something that, yeah, I'm going to go over to Staples, I'm going to and here you go. I mean, wouldn't they try to do something a little more, that has a little more finesse?
Well, first of all, they keep in mind, somebody is the president of the United States. He has placed an ad in the newspaper. I'm looking for the best forger money can buy. This is something that he has to do discreetly. He has to rely on people that he has around him, And, not every criminal is a bright criminal, and he had limited means at that point. And it's extremely hard to forge and recreate paper that existed in 1961. It is extremely hard to recreate the ink, and they couldn't. And also, I received affidavit from a typesetting expert who's been engaged in typesetting for 50 years, and he is stating that the typesetting is clearly a forgery. And he showed, please go on my website, Orly Taitz, ESQ.com, ORLY, T as in Tom, AI, T as in Tom, Z as in Zoo, Orly Taitz, ESQ.com. And you will see on my website affidavits from experts saying, you can see clearly, you don't even have to be an expert to see that the letters were cut and pasted from different documents and they don't match.
All right.
When you have documents on typewriter, the letters would match.
I want to let everybody know that if you have questions for Dr. Taitz, I know that, and where we're going to go next is to the Social Security number, the Connecticut. I want to ask you about that, but I also want to let people know, if you have questions for Dr. Taitz, she's willing to answer whatever questions you have to the best of her ability. So you can always call the show 617-266-6868, 877-469-4322. You can also send me a text, and I will ask Dr. Taitz the question. 680 on your wireless. Please do not text and drive. That is very dangerous. I will always say that. All right. So the birth certificate was just a bad photocopy. Okay, but they got away with it. So let's move on then, because the press is not paying attention. What they do is they say, Dr. Taitz, you're a Fruit Loop. You're a freak show. All the birthers are just whack job, wing nut freak show. And that's how they just dismiss it all. So then let's move on to something that Dr. Jerome Corsi, that I've, and many people though, have had questions about. If you don't buy the birth certificate being a fraudulent document, how the hell does the president get a Connecticut Social Security number when he's never lived there and no one in his family has?
Absolutely. And that was the first clue.
Oh, and by the way, and you do know that it's from Connecticut. I just want to ask you that. How do we know
Absolutely.
It's from Connecticut?
Yes.
Okay.
See, actually, it's interesting that now Obama is trying to change the way Social Security Administration is being run, and now they're trying to do Social Security numbers randomly from all over the country. However, until now, when a person would get his Social Security number, the first three digits will identify the state. 042. Those are the first three digits of his number signify the state of Connecticut. Obama was never a resident there. So that's a clear indication of fraud. And it just shows how corrupt are your congressmen and senators, how corrupt are your federal judges that are allowing this to go on.
But how does it keep going on? I mean, who got this for him when he was a youngster? How did he manage to get it? That's the thing.
Well, there are a few possibilities. His grandmother used to work in Oahu Circuit Court probate department. Now, probate department is where you can find the Social Security numbers of deceased individuals. And as you know, our Social Security system is going broke because we have hundreds of thousands or possibly millions of illegals with fraudulent Social Security numbers. What they do, they find somebody who died as a loner, and according to Social Security Administration, the number is still active, and they use it. And they get benefits. So that's one of the possibilities that the grandmother got it. His mother used to work in a loans department in the bank. She had access to Social Security numbers. She could get it. And here's another issue. The family was connected to the communist movement. The mother, the stepfather, the father, the grandfather.
Right, that's well documented. Yeah.
In the communist movement. And here is an example. If you go to Amazon.com and purchase a book for 99 cents, you can buy a book by William Ayers, Fugitive Days, and you read there explanation how he created hundreds of fraudulent Social Security numbers. He went to the cemeteries. He looked for graves of babies who died before they got Social Security numbers. He would go to the city hall or the county office, get their birth certificate numbers, and based on their names and numbers, he obtained fraudulently Social Security numbers. And he would give addresses, phony addresses of hotels, and he got hundreds of such numbers. He committed massive Social Security fraud.
Oh, yeah, William
and
Ayers did.
Our corrupt government is doing nothing about it.
Well, now,
and that's Obama's close friend.
Yeah, well, no, yes, this we know. He's also a fundraiser for. Well, it's interesting because listen, I've said all along, Dr. Taitz, is you just gotta, if you don't know who he is, look who he hangs out with: Rezko, Ayers, the list goes on. Thugs, communists. He just Dr. Don't forget, the Reverend Wright, a very angry minister of black theology. I mean, it's just very interesting. And then you've got, pushback from people in this country who say, well, that's not who he is. That's who the crazies are making it up. But, we didn't ask him to hang out with these people. But now, all right, what I want to do is I want to give out the number again, 617-266-6868, 877-469-4322. We're speaking with Dr. Orly Taitz. She's somebody who is a big name in the birther movement, and a judge handed down a ruling today that says, you know what, this lawyer, Dr. Taitz, cannot get any information on Barack Obama's Social Security number from the administration. Nope, she can't get it. And the judge said, hey, P.S., it's not your lucky day. So not only did he say no, but he winked and said out of here in an arrogant fashion, which is arrogance in the president is not shocking to me. Let's go to the phones. Greg. Chris, do I do what I normally do, or do you want to bring him up? Greg, welcome. You're on WRKO with Jen and Dr. Taitz. Go ahead.
Hi, Dr. Taitz. I think it's good what you're doing. I think that... Hello?
Yep, go ahead. We've got... do we have...
I think it's good what she's doing. I think the Constitution is important, and I think that, whether or not you agree with his politics or not, that, there were rules in place, and there's certainly something weird going on. I don't know why. My only conclusion that personally I draw is that, they resist full disclosure because there is something to hide. And just like when Bill Clinton was, telling everybody that, nothing happened and we were all crazy, it takes a couple people to just keep digging, and you finally get to the truth. And I hope that happens eventually.
The only people who don't want to disclose the truth are people with something to hide.